Here are Malawians in the streets of Lilongwe demonstrating against the government of Malawi. Not necessarily the government, but demonstrating against the Malawi Electoral Commission. They are having concerns that the Electoral Commission of Malawi is not prepared to manage free and credible elections in Malawi. As you know, Malawi is going to have elections on the 16th September 2025. So many people are concerned. Civil society, political parties, especially from the opposition, are not happy with the chief electoral commissioner. She is a woman who is a very respectable judge in Malawi, but many Malawians do think like she is not ready to provide a good electoral management system, and also she's not prepared to listen to the concerns of Malawians, as they have been asking her to allow independent organization to audit electoral laws. But she's been so, in rejection of everything that the people have been asking her. She has not accepted people to audit the electoral system. And the people are worried that if we cannot have independent audit of the whole electoral system prior to the elections, how can we have credible elections in Malawi? So people took to the streets to demonstrate against such kind of attitude that the chief electoral commissioner is showing. The opposition party as well have been asking the independent audit of the electoral vote law, so that the Malawians should be able to know actually what they are being told to be exact with what is in the system. But it seems like this is not happening. So people took to the streets in Malawi on 26th June. Like all cities of Malawi were flooded with demonstrators. But sadly the demonstrations in Lilongwe were faced with stiff opposition, as parallel group came against the demonstrators, began attacking them, so that some other people sustained injuries. Malawi is preparing to have election on the 16th of September, and it's very close. What it means is that the ground is so tense, the situation is so tense in Malawi as far as the election is concerned, because this is going to be very important election. Actually, there are 3 elections that are going to take place on the 16th of September this year. We're going to have a presidential election, parliamentary election, and the council election. So there are 3 types of elections. So it's the biggest event. And elections, people have got different expectations, but most of the times elections do not give you whatever you want. Of course, we may have obvious people that are going to win the elections, but it cannot just only be one person, but it should be a competition. So the ground should be free and fair, and for the elections to be free and fair and credible, everybody should consent, should be allowed to provide an input, so that we may have such a credible election in Malawi. If civil societies are asking for the resignation of the chief of the Malawi Electoral Commissioner, it means there is a reason why they are doing so. And we should know that we are all Malawians. If we cannot come together and find out what could be the common solution, then we are going to be drifting. It's not good for us to be drifting. We must respect each other's views, and let us do everything we can in order to have the election in Malawi, which is going to be very successful, because at the end of the day, what we want is to have a country which is going to be successful and developed. But if we keep on fighting, we keep on disagreeing with one another, not able to provide with one another things that we really need for the betterment of our lives, such as making sure that there is a good process for conducting the election in Malawi, we may end up having a divided nation. But let's make sure that we prepare very well to prevent whatever could be the consequences of poor preparation. And we also say that failure to prepare is like you're preparing to fail, right? If you cannot prepare now properly for anything else, it means you it really means that if you're failing to prepare, it means you are really preparing. If you're not preparing properly right now for everything that you are trying, it means you are not ready to do very well in your all endeavors. So we hope that the Malawi Electoral Commissioner, a chief of Malawi Electoral Commissioner, is going to listen to the concerns of Malawians and the concerns from all political parties in Malawi, so that the issues which are very pertinent are addressed. Issues which are very serious are addressed before the day of the election, which is on 16th September 2025, and which is very close. And if I can look at the dates, like the number of dates, how many days are remaining to 16th September for the election, I think not more than 100 days, I'm sure, because this is June, and we're already done with June, so we have July, August, September. Almost 60 days may be remaining, maybe 90 days may be remaining for the election to take place in Malawi. It could not only be 90 days, because the elections also will take place on the 16th September, so you can see maybe we are remaining with 70 days plus. So let's prepare for this election. It's very important. This is about the decision about our nation. What do we want our nation to be like? If we don't allow what people are saying, like to take into account their concerns, so that we can solve the problems together and make sure that we have smooth, credible, as well as fair and free elections, then we are going to create an environment whereby many people will be very worried and not even happy with the results that will be announced after the day of the election. So let's prepare very well. Thank you for watching. I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel.